So, I'd like to introduce you to how to play with a pendulum. Now, pendulums can be made out of all kinds of things. This one happens to be made out of amethyst. You can use a necklace, you can tie a coin to a string, or anything really, just a weight to a string. You can use a plumb bob. It's essentially what this is looking like. The important thing is that when you do it, that it's hanging from one point, because if this was hung on a loop, then it would interfere with the way that your pendulum is going to move. So you really want it just hanging from one point down here. Now, what pendulums are for asking questions, yes, no, and maybe. And everybody's yes, no, and maybe looks a little bit different. So the other thing about pendulums is I looked for several years to find my pendulum. I would ask different pendulums, show me yes, show me no, are you my pendulum? And a lot of them said no, which was irritating. I also have friends that when they wanted to start playing with pendulums, that there was no change, no movement that happened for them. And if this is what happens in your case, it just takes a little time. So holding your pendulum, carrying it around, spending some time with it, part of what happens is a lot of pendulums are made out of crystals, if that's what you choose to get. And we are also made of a crystalline complex known as fascia, and it's similar to quartz crystals, and we can resonate the same as the crystals and ourselves. So carrying it around helps you to kind of resonate with your pendulum. So how to use this thing. You're gonna hold it and you're gonna ask it, show me yes. And when you ask it, show me yes, you look and see my yes is typically a circle. And when I first started using a pendulum, it was a very tiny circle. It's much larger now. And the idea is you want to be still as much as possible and then ask, show me no. And my no is often a line. So you can see it's moving back and forth now. And then show me maybe, or I don't know. And maybe tends to wiggle for me. Now I've done this with my family, and every person in my family has a different yes, a different no, different maybe. So my yes is the circle in one direction. My husband's is the opposite direction. My son's yes is a line. So you just have to find out what yours is. And then you can ask yes and no questions. So you can play with it and ask it straightforward ones. Is my name Candi? And we'll see what this says. So if you can see that, saying yes, my name is Candi. Is my name Tallulah? Or my name is Tallulah? It says no. No, your name is not Tallulah. So sometimes when I'm struggling with making decisions, I will pull out my pendulum and I will ask it a series of questions. Am I supposed to do this right now? Am I supposed to do this after? Is this going to happen? Do I need to make this phone call? And this gives me clarity. So when I first started using this, I was like, oh, I kind of doubted. But the more that I've used this, the stronger it's gotten. You can actually see that my particular pendulum has been broken. And when I dropped it and broke it, I thought, oh, maybe I need to get a new one. And I asked it if I should get a new pendulum. And it said, well, now it's saying maybe, but this was about a year ago. And it said, no. And I said, are you still my pendulum? And it said, yeah, I'm still your pendulum. So I've still been using this same one. So your pendulum doesn't have to be perfect. But I hope that you found this useful, and that if you have anything in your house and you want to play with your pendulum, try asking it yes or no. And again, if it doesn't move, that's okay too. You do want to try to be as still as possible. So you might want to even brace your elbow on a table so that you don't shake. And then another note about this is where the answers are coming from. So there's a couple beliefs. One belief is that this is higher guidance, And another belief is that this is your subconscious. And either way, whether your subconscious is slightly moving your hand to give you the answers that you already know as your truth, or whether there's higher guidance influencing the movement of the pendulum to give you your guidance, I have found that it has been right every time. So you don't have to take my word for it, but I hope that you enjoy playing with your pendulum.